Hey everybody, this is Geronimo, and today I'm going to be talking about this cobbler machine, or shoe sewer, or leather patcher. It has a lot of names. I call it a manually cranked sewing machine. Same thing, but it can go through leather. And does a great job actually for the price that I paid. A lot of people are having issues with getting the needle to pull up the bottom string or the bobbin string. So there are 3 points of this machine that can be adjusted in order to get that sucker to work correctly again. And that's what I'm going to show you real quick. The very first thing that I did when I bought this is I tried to sew something. And obviously it came with a sample piece with the stitches in it, and obviously at one point it worked, but when I got it, it didn't. I was cranking it, and it just wouldn't feed the bobbin string up. And I had a really long time, figured out finally how to fix that. But we're going to go through the different parts that is necessary for you to know in order to correct the situation. Alright, so this machine is pretty simple. I mean, super simple, and that's why it's awesome. Because less components that can break, and it just continues to work whatever you throw at it. Here's the other side. Okay, so we have a wheel over here. Made in such a way with two different grooves that when you crank this, it moves this arm right here plus this arm right here. Okay, so this arm moves the bobbin, this arm moves the needle. The rod here has gears on it. It looks pretty much like this. They have the teeth, and when this thing moves, I guess in this direction, and it's bobbing like that, it moves this gear under here, moves it in such a way like this. This is situated on there, and it moves the bobbin. So the gears back here moving this forward, and this gear right here are the first things you want to mess with. Now that I took this out, in fact, I will have to do that in order to get it to work again. But you can put these in a bunch of ways where they'll fit in the groove, but you have to get it into the right position in order for it to work correctly. So when I got my machine and finally started messing with it, I found out that I just needed to place this in where it go in order for the top string to suck up the bobbin string. And let's see, and pull that up. We'll place this in, and most likely it will not be in the position it needs to be. See? It's not lifting it now. So have to take this out. And replace this in a different position, and I'll just go, slightly one notch over as gears go till it sits back in. Then I'll put the bobbin in. And try it again. No luck. So I'll open it up and do this dance all over again. Take this out. Put it back in at the next notch that it'll sit. Put the bobbin in. And wouldn't it be nice if this time it actually worked? But you may have to do this several times until you get it to work. Still not there. There, I got it that time. We're going to continue trying a few times. Alright, so I got it that time, but I'm going to try again. It should pick up on the first one. Sometimes if it's real close, it'll pick it up, but you'll continue to have issues until you get it in the right spot. So let's try that again. Alright, picked it up pretty good. And I think we're golden. Let's put something in here and sew it to see how it does. Alright, got me some leather scrap. It's not working. Oh, wait a second. Put the foot down, make sure you put the foot down. And there you go. Back in business. Back in business. So that is the one easiest way to fix it. The other thing is if it's really screwed up, which it shouldn't be, because they're supposed to check it before they send it and have a piece of leather still in it with the sewing string still attached, showing that it did work when it left wherever it came from. But the other place is you can mess with these bolts and move this arm one way or the other. That's the bolts right here. You can move this arm one way or the other to adjust the way that your bobbin thingamajiggo sits in there. That's a big mess though. Because if you mess with that and have to mess with that, that's a whole lot of guessing and movements until you fix the issue. And I know that from experience. But eventually it'll be so irritating, but eventually you'll get it to work again if you just keep moving these two pieces until you start picking up string. And the third place that you have to check, if it's not this and it's not that, or maybe you might even want to do this before you mess with this, because like I said, that's going to take a lot of work to get it back to the position it needs to be. So this is the rod that feeds the string into the needle. If this is misplaced and it's not in the correct area, it's not going to lift the string back up either. I've found that when I'm using the thicker leather, trying to sew two pieces of thicker leather together, when I crank that sucker, the of this arm and the thickness of this leather will push this rod up. It'll force it up. And so I typically have to unscrew, reset the rod right here. You can see it in the back. You'll have to reset that rod to where it needs to be and tighten that screw right here back up, and it should start working again. And that may take a little bit of adjustment as well until you get it to the right position. And it's probably a smart idea to, scratch it up in that area or mark it with a marker for a reference point for later if it happens again. Same way with this little cradle here that holds the bobbin. You may want to mark somewhere on the surface of this piece where that cradle is supposed to be, but you will also have to note where the handle is. Because this position is going to change this position. So if you say, okay, my handle's always down, if my handle's down, the cradle should be sitting here. So that might help you find your position again. And likewise, you can mark on a marker right here and always know where that one is when the machine actually works correctly, so you can find that sweet spot faster if you have a problem later on. Alright guys, I hope that helped. That's the end of this video. That's how you adjust the parts of this machine in order to get it to feed right again. There are other things that I'll talk about in another video that will change the way that your sewing machine works. But click like, subscribe, share my videos with others. GoGeronimo.com still exists, and I have an Etsy shop linked to that. And I don't know. See you later.